You know, if I worked for Warner Brothers or Lucasfilm, for example, I feel like I would say the reason some of the different kind of non-fantasy stuff I talk about on this channel doesn't do well, that's not my fault. That's your fault. Let's talk about this week. Hey, what's up, bookworms? Mike here for another weekly update. Happy Valentine's Day if you were one of those people who do anything for that. You know what's really crazy about Valentine's Day is when I first met my wife, she was like, here's what I want for Valentine's Day. I want to not go out. She doesn't like waiting. She doesn't like public really very much at all. She's always been kind of a introvert in that way. So what we've always kind of done each Valentine's Day is we just chill and watch like a classic romance movie, preferably from the 60s or before. And just have a nice steak dinner kind of thing, and stay in, drink some wine, something like that. So I mean, I know that maybe I'd be like incredibly romantic to some people that we don't go out and spend $300 on a dinner, but we kind of treat anniversaries more as that kind of thing. But anyway, if you're one of those guys who do that, the cards, the flowers, the chocolates, hey, that's awesome, man. Do what works for you and your lady. And ladies, return the love to the guys somehow. But hey guys, it's another week here. We got lots to talk about actually. I got lots going on more than just the books. If you guys probably know by now, I am working my way through the Cosmere, and I've been talking about that a lot, but I've been working a lot this week on Warbreaker. I am enjoying this quite a bit. I know if you guys watched my Elantris review, you know I was kind of mixed on it, and mixed to positive, and with Brandon Sanderson, like I've said many times, and including that review, even the worst Brandon Sanderson story is probably going to be pretty good. So yeah, it's about what you'd expect. However, with this one, I feel like it feels more like the Cosmere. I didn't feel like Elantris fit in the Cosmere anywhere. I felt like it was kind of something that was like retroactively just kind of shoved in there. This feels very Cosmere-y. There's lots of things that kind of prelude to stuff that happens in Stormlight in this, and I'm finding the connections already, but I'm having a really good time with this. I love all the characters, all the main POV characters. Lightsong is a character I like a lot, but the supporting cast around him, like all the other gods, so to speak, I find them kind of lame and boring, but I still enjoy his chapters for the most part. But I love Vivenna, I love Ciri, I really like the God King. Vasher, I want to know a whole lot more about, but it's Denth and Tonk Fa that I'm liking quite a bit. The duo in that, her like mercenaries, because they kind of make me think of Royce and Hadrian from Rhaenyra, or Rhaenyra. Sorry, I still say that wrong. So yeah, big thumbs up on Warbreaker at this point. I'm about 60% done, so I should probably be finishing that up early next week, if not this weekend, since the kids are going to be at grandma's. Also, my other big project is Dresen Files. I'm on Blood Rites right now, but I'm not going to lie, I've only read a couple of chapters. Usually I read both of these at the same time, but I'm enjoying Warbreaker so much, I haven't really went back to this. So when I finish Warbreaker, I figure I'll fly through this, and after that, I'll go ahead and sink my teeth into what's next. But the thing about Dresen Files that's actually kind of interesting is that I've finally got an ARC request granted. I did get a Stephen King book early. Sorry. I did get a Stephen King book early one time, and that was actually like a last-minute thing that was surprising to me. But every other ARC request I've made, crickets. I can't even get the publishers ever to respond to me. So I don't know if I just got lucky on this one, but I did get approved for an ARC request for Peace Talks, which, is, you probably know if you're a Dresden fan, is the next big Dresden book in July. And it also made me realize, crap, I might have to speed up my schedule a little more. I don't know how early these go out, but obviously they would like to go out long enough for you to be able to read them and review them before they're actually available to the public. So I was doing like 2 per month leading right up until the release of Peace Talk, so I might have to actually put the gas down just a little bit, maybe go up to like 3 a month or something like that. But if you know anything about the Dresen Files books, you know it's not really hard. It's just I'll have to prioritize it over some other things, and if I have to push some things down a little bit, maybe push something back, okay, so be it, because I would like to actually be someone who's able to do a lot of ARC reviews and stuff like that for people who are interested in a book. So that's where we're at. Where else we got? I continue my talk about Stephen King's multiverse with Salem's Lot. I feel like this one did a lot better conversation than the Carrie one did. I felt like the Carrie one didn't really move the needle a ton. Because I think it's like Carrie, I feel like it's one of those that just kind of all of Stephen King's legendary run in the 80s, the late 70s and early 80s, I feel like Carrie's the one that kind of gets swept on the rug. But a lot of people actually are still kind of curious about Salem's Lot. It seems like most jumped in with Stephen King at The Shining or The Stand. And, this was right before both of those and after Carrie. So I feel like this one kind of gets lost in shuffle. But I do think that this is actually got a lot of frights if you're looking to actually see why Stephen King kind of got his reputation as the master of horror, because this is still very chilling even at this point in life. And like I've said in that review, you can go watch it. I put it up here for you. And it's at a time when vampires were still scary. They're not sexy and sparkly and all that stuff that they do to them now. So it's got a lot of great characters, one of my favorite protagonists in Ben Mears, and definitely one of my favorite King villains in Barlow. So check that out if you can. I definitely recommend Salem's Lot, especially if you're the type that wants to find out why he got the reputation that he did for being the master of horror. So very, very good entry point if you're looking for something to actually scare you just a little bit. The big mover on the channel this week, and I mean anytime I talk Wheel of Time, it's going to move the needle, but I finished Winter's Heart. That review actually, I think I edited it down from about 45 minutes to about 33 minutes. I told you guys that I do actually kind of edit those down when I feel like I ramble on for a while about stuff that don't matter. Because to me, if I put out a video and the analytics tell me, yeah, people watched your 35-minute video for 8 minutes, it tells me obviously I either rambled or I wasn't able to hold their attention. So I know a lot of folks who like my Wheel of Time and my First Law and my Cosmere stuff have said, no, make those videos long. It's fine. I like it. If people are tuning out, I'm not doing a good enough job of holding people's attention. So that's why I kind of do that. But I'll put that review right here for Winter's Heart if you haven't gotten to it yet. Mixed to negative, is that what I'm going to say? I thought that there was a lot of things to like about it. There was a lot of things that I did not like about it, and I talk about those. I felt like it was a huge step up from Path of Daggers, which as more time goes by, I'm liking Path of Daggers less and less. But yeah, obviously the second half of this book, much better than the first half of the book, continues George's trend, except for Path of Daggers. They're giving us that really big third act that I think that we've come to expect from him. And again, if you've made it this far in the series, obviously it's worth reading. As a standalone, I don't feel like you can rate these as standalones at this point. When you're on book 9, I don't really think you can rate them as standalones anymore. I feel like you could read some of the other ones and sort of get it, some of the earlier volumes, but with these, now once you get to about Shadow Rising, you really have to have read them all to really understand what's happening here. So if you've read that far in the series, go ahead. And I know it's coming next. I know Crossroads is coming next, so I know people are already just kind of waiting for that reaction video, but I feel like I've built up that wall so much because even since Eye of the World, I've had people warning me about Crossroads of Twilight that at this point, I don't see how I could be disappointed. I mean, I have people who just like seriously say, dude, just read a wiki. It's more worth your time. But nope, I'm going to be a completionist with this series. I don't read wikis. I'm just going to go and just talk about Crossroads of Twilight, but that starts in March. Something I didn't actually read this week. It's actually a video I recorded back in December, and I was kind of dissatisfied with how directionless that it was, so I never actually published it, so I just kind of put it on ice in case I needed it for a rainy day. Well, school has been kicking my ass this week. I had a strategic planning class. It's really dominating a lot of my time, and I had a advanced economics test, which required a lot of study time, and I think that's why I haven't been able to blow through that Dresden book as well as Warbreaker like usual, because real life gets in the way sometimes, but it is my last semester. But anyway, the video I did was for not necessarily just the Blade itself, but mostly just the First Law trilogy by Joe Abercrombie. Obviously, you guys know I'm a huge fan of this series. I'm a huge advocate. I'm always going to kind of preach to you about why you should read these. But really what the video was about was me saying that I think back to those early videos I did in this channel for the First Law, and it's just, I never wanted to really re-review anything on this channel, but it's like those videos were just like spoiler heavy and the quality was just bad. The camera, I didn't have the equipment that I have now. So it was really, like I said, it was when I was first getting started doing this. So I really just kind of went into it and talked about the blade itself and why I feel like it, for the undecided who haven't got there yet, one more time, this is why I think you should give it a shot. And I'll put that video right here for you to watch because I think it's one of those things where, look, I'm going to be honest, it's not for everybody because I have had some people tell me, look, I took your recommendation on it and it just wasn't working for me. And like I say in the video, I don't actually say this in that video, and it's one of the reasons I kind of didn't publish it was I didn't hit all my key points that I want to talk about because I just turned the camera on and just rambled one day, like I'm doing now. Is I feel like a lot of people will read this first book and be like, it's just kind of directionless, and I just don't. I like the characters, but I don't really care for the plot. I think, much like Lord of the Rings, is that, and this is the only comparison between those two, it really is one story broken into 3 volumes. It is not 3 standalone stories. So, yeah, I can see it when I did the reread. I can see if I didn't have the second book to go to right away, I don't know if I'd have the longing for the series that I have now. It's really a really well-connected, long story. It's like if you get you just like an omnibus of this trilogy, that's the way to read this. Because if you read just that first one, I can see how you think there's no plot. They don't travel anywhere. It's a character introduction. It's setting you up for this world. And book 2 is where the traveling and the split parties start. So just keep pushing, guys. Trust me. I feel like it's going to be worth your investment. But I also realize that genre, that subgenre, grimdark, is not for everybody. So, I mean, a really close friend of mine who we read a lot of the same things, he's not really into the grimdark category, and I've been trying to get him to read this forever, and I think after about 2 years, he's a third of the way through book number 2, and he just keeps saying, so when am I supposed to like these characters? I feel like if you're not liking any of the characters by book 2, it just might not be the series for you. Because I already felt some of the more detestable characters at the beginning already starting to grow on me by book 2. So, I mean, I love all the characters now because I know how it all ends. But it's worth your investment. Keep going, guys. That's all I can say about it. We did finish the Rage of Dragons read along on the channel. And I just want to say thank you. It made it a lot of fun. Taking a month to read this book was obviously something that was new to me, taking that long to read a book, but it was fun being able to discuss it with people. So, I mean, and I feel like a lot more people read along with us that didn't really contribute to the discussion, because that's great, because, I mean, I only had probably 30 people that would actually comment on the videos, but, you know, a lot more views, and I had a lot more people on the Discord, and a lot more people that said that they were going to join us. I did notice that those views kind of got smaller and smaller as the videos went along, so I don't feel like everybody finished with us. But it was a lot of fun talking with you guys while it was going on. Like Warbreaker right now, I'd love to be able to talk to you guys, you know, after certain portions and be like, hey, this is what I think's happening, this is what I think's going to happen. But good book. I plan on doing my review for it sometime this week, a non-spoiler review for you guys who didn't read along with us. But it's going to go ahead and spoil that it's a recommend for sure. It's a very good read, and I'm looking forward to the sequel, which apparently got pushed back. It was July. Now I think it's in November, so it decided it didn't want to go head-to-head against Dresen Files, but it wants to go head-to-head against Stormlight Archive. Sounds like your publisher's having a good time with you there. Also, I did put up a new poll on the channel. You can find those on the community tab. But it's concerning some things that are going to happen in 2021. I know that's really thinking ahead. But I do want to discuss that poll a little more in length than just throw it into a weekly update. Because I feel like there's some big revelations that came out of it. And there's some things I want to talk more about. So look for that video early next week talking about that poll about things that I plan to read in 2021 when the Cosmere and Dresen Files and The Witcher and the Cosmere are all over. Did I say Cosmere twice? I think I might have. Anyway, Wheel of Time. Wheel of Time's the other one. When that's all done, and I feel like my schedule is going to open up for new things, and to me, I felt like it was a no-brainer what was going to win the poll because I've had people requesting Malazan. People have been requesting that since I started this channel. So, like I said, I want to talk about it a little more in depth, so I'll make that video next week. As for non-book stuff, me and my wife finished Season 6A of Vikings. If you don't know how they do Vikings, they're 20-episode seasons, but they split them up into 10-episode arcs. So, you know, they'll have like 10 episodes in the spring, and then they'll have 10 episodes in the fall. And that's kind of how they do it. And this is the first half of the final season. And I hate to keep on using Game of Thrones as a whipping boy, but it's just like, I am so happy that I'm getting the reactions and the emotions and just the damn fun of this final season that I hoped to get from the last season of Game of Thrones. I feel like they are wrapping up so much stuff in a wonderful, wonderful way. There was a major character death that I was surprised how hard it hit me, because it was one of the originals from the very first season, and it was tough, but it was so beautifully shot and just incredibly well done. And I mean, basically, it was a whole episode dedicated to that, where nothing happened except talking about that character death, and it was brilliant. It was fantastic. Just wonderful acting this season. I feel like the actor who plays Bjorn has just gotten better every year of the show, and he really knocked it out of the park this year. Everyone else in the show is just, they're so good. They're so good. And I just really wish that more people, and I know that they have obviously some following. History has sunk a lot of money into this final season. Like, I can tell, like, the set design and the production has really, really increased this year. And like always, the battles are just amazing. It's just, I can't say enough about this season. I felt like season 5 lost its footing a little bit after a certain actor left the show. I don't want to say anything in case you don't know. But this year I felt like it's gotten back on course, and it's back to being the Vikings that I know and love. And I'm going to be sad to see it go. 10 episodes left in the fall, and I'm going to be really, really sad to see it go, because I felt like besides Game of Thrones, this was the only thing that was on par with it as far as writing and characters and storyline went. So, yeah, going to be very, very sad to see it go. So you guys, please check out Vikings if you haven't. It's a wonderful, wonderful show. As for currently, yeah, I quit Picard. It's not for me. It's not for me. I don't feel like they know what Star Trek fans want. And I'll kind of get to that here when I talk about comics in a second. I don't feel like they know what Star Trek fans want anymore. Feel like everyone's just so concerned these days with getting social media attention and fluff articles than they are than actually, being loyal to a product and being loyal to a fan base and things like that. But again, I'll expand on that here in a minute. But yeah, I'm done with Discovery. I think I'm done with Star Trek, new Star Trek for now. Might go back into it eventually, but I'm not like a elitist on that stuff. I didn't watch Voyager either. I didn't care for Voyager that much. If it's just, I'll give all these Star Trek things a try because I love the IP, but they're just not hitting it anymore for me. It's not like to the levels of like the new Star Wars or something, but it's it's not. Nah. Me and my wife are currently watching season 2 of Yellowstone. I don't know if you guys watched Yellowstone. I think it's on the Paramount Network. I didn't even know this was a thing until recently. I watched the first season on Blu-ray actually, and we just got this one because we don't have cable. We're cord cutters, but it isn't available on anything streaming, so we had to wait for the Blu-rays to come out. But it's a very, very, very good show. In case you don't know, it's got Kevin Costner in it. And anytime you got Kevin Costner on a horse, it's usually pretty good, right? This is, I explained to people, imagine Sons of Anarchy, but instead of a motorcycle club, it's a ranch in Montana. I really, really see the parallels between those two. And it's, if you were really into like The Shield or Sons of Anarchy or something like that, I think you'll like this quite a bit. Don't really have much to say besides that. We blew through the first season in like a couple of days, and I figure we'll end up doing season 2 just as much, if things like Cub Scouts don't keep getting in the way. That's a lot of work, in case you guys don't know. Cub Scouts, man, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. I did talk about some comics on the channel the other day. Put that video up here for you where I just talk about comics that have been important to me through my life, because I've had some people show some interest in it. Also, I want to add that I tried watching Locke Key. First episode was enough for me. I was out. They turned it into a CW show. It's like PG-13, and there's like the emo rock music and stuff, and it's all about teen angst and romance. And I'm like, this is not what Locke Key was about. So I watched one episode and I was out. People who haven't read the comic seem to enjoy it quite a bit. That's great. I'm glad others enjoying it. I'm just like, this isn't what I read. So I bailed on it, which is weird because I was super, super excited for it. I just felt like, they were focusing on the wrong things, and then they just kind of are taking huge plot elements from the comic and just having them just like happen for no reason at all. And to me, it was just like most Stephen King things, Joe Hill looks like his adaptations aren't going to, because the In the Tallgrass adaptation was not like the book, and it seems like Locke and Key is not like the book. So, and definitely Nosferatu was not like the book. So, Joe Hill, you are carrying on that family legacy of having adaptations of your work done very, very, I don't want to say poorly as much as just like not loyal to the source material. So, is what it is. Is what it is. But like I said, I talked about comics in that, but it got me thinking about Birds of Prey, which just came out. And for you people who are always like, oh, I love that you don't talk about politics, or I wish you would talk about politics more, this is going to kind of hinge on that. So, get your feelings in check here for a second, because I'm going to kind of talk about it. I feel like the biggest problem right now with studios, movie studios, TV, basically anything that is in production for entertainment, consumption. And this is the business major in me talking here. You can look at this however you want. I guarantee I don't identify with you politically, because I don't identify with any party politically. I feel like the biggest problem right now is you're insulting your customer base. You saw it kind of with after The Last Jedi came out, and you kept seeing Lucasfilm employees insulting their fan base. Now, I know that fans can be shits, for lack of a better word. They really can. It's a very small minority, but when you start using broad generalizations to justify your reasons for insulting an established fan base that's been around for decades, I feel like that's a very, very poor business decision. And so when the profits at the box office or the views on television or the sales of your book go down or are very low or below expectations, I feel like insulting your customers on top of it is a very, very bad idea. It seems like no one wants to take responsibility for anything anymore. And the reason Birds of Prey comes up is because anyone who watched the trailers for that could tell two things. One, it was using the same aesthetic as Suicide Squad, which hardly anyone liked. It was not well received critically. A lot of DC apologists. I am one. I'm a DC apologist because I love the comics. But I also have problems with their movies because they don't make them like the comics, like at all. It makes me envious to see what they've done with Marvel and be like, wow, you actually follow some of your source material. You're at least loyal to it. It's at least recognizable. So when I have something like Birds of Prey comes out and it follows the aesthetic of Suicide Squad, which no one liked, you saw those trailers and you were like, yeah, I'm not interested. It looks like another Suicide Squad. Not into it. And then it had a very, very clear agenda. And if you really think there wasn't an agenda in this, I don't know what to tell you. I look at a movie like Wonder Woman and I say, that had a very, very, very feminist slant. But you know what it didn't do? It didn't use misandry to get across its point. And I feel like, yeah, that's a very real thing. Everything about this movie, Birds of Prey, was about the matriarchy and misogyny and all. I mean, you even had Ewan McGregor, who, by the way, cheated on his wife with his younger co-star, and now he's going to be talking about how everything's misogynist and stuff. It was very clear he got like very big talking points from Warner Brothers. I just felt like that was the wrong way to market your movie. We just saw it with Terminator Dark Fate, when you try to hijack an established franchise and turn around and say, we're going to use why feminism is great. And it's not like feminism either. It's like misandry. Like I said, there's a big difference in my opinion there. You can have strong feminist themes. Hello, Buffy the Vampire Slayer is my favorite television program of all time. You can use strong feminine characters and not have to just basically get into misandry to do it. I don't realize when that started. And look at Terminator Dark Fate, look at the new Charlie's Angels, and now look at Birds of Prey. General audiences aren't into this, man. So listen to your audience. I think it's great that you've got opinions. I think it's great that you got feelings about things and you feel strongly about these things. If general audiences aren't buying it, man, why are you doing it? So I don't feel like Warner Brothers knows what they don't know what their fans want. They want their comics. They don't want preaching. Yeah. So that's kind of how I feel about it. I don't know what business plan they are using because they're just yeah, it's so frustrating. It's frustrating as a longtime DC Comics fan to see all these properties. And look, the biggest reason I didn't want to go see this is because I was like, yo, it's Birds of Prey and there's no Oracle. And why is Harley Quinn in here? It made no sense to me. I was like, why didn't you guys just make Gotham City Sirens with Catwoman and Poison Ivy and Harley if you wanted to just make a Margot Robbie Harley Quinn movie. That was my biggest problem. But yeah, I'm not interested in any of these movies that are just straight up political narrative anymore. That's just me. I feel like I'm still the general audience in that. So if you disagree, that's great. It'll be kind of like when I talked about The Witcher versus The Wheel of Time and why I thought Wheel of Time wasn't going to do well, and that's probably the most disliked disliked video I have on this channel. I understand that. That's why I don't talk about these things very much. But I'm sick and tired of watching my properties that I love, like the Terminator franchise, like Birds of Prey, like a lot of these comic superhero movies now, and they're just so freaking woke. God, I hate that word. Such an ugly word. So is social justice warrior. And again, I support you if you want to feel that way, but general audiences don't care about that. They watch superhero movies to have fun, not be told why they're a bad person. So, again, that's the business side of me. If I'm a business executive, I'm saying I want to do what's going to maximize my profits. I'm going to do that every single time. So, but, again, capitalism bad, I guess, or whatever. Anyhow, Birds of Prey is probably going to be destroyed this weekend, in its second weekend, by Sonic the Hedgehog, which is amazing. Because, all the complaining about that movie, when the first trailer came out, and it was nothing but really bad CGI, and it didn't look like the Sonic we knew at all. And they went back and they changed it, and now it looks like it's going to have a pretty good weekend, which is crazy. My kid wants to go see it. I have some friends that were like, yeah, that looks like the kind of movie we're going to be laughing at in a couple years. And the other one was like, yeah, I'm laughing at it right now. But I'm like, guys, we aren't the target demo. I know we grew up with it, but it's like the new Ninja Turtles movies. We grew up with Ninja Turtles, but it wasn't made for us. It was made for the new generation of kids. And you know what? My kid wants to go see it. I was planning on taking him, but it looks like his grandma's going to steal him this weekend, and she is going to take him. So, that's cool. But anytime you've got a chance for Jim Carrey to act all slapsticky like he did when he broke out into stardom, I guess it's cool. It's a weird pick for Dr. Robotnik, but yeah, cool. I'm here for it. So I went a little longer than usual, so I'll just kind of wrap this up real quick. Musically, I've been listening to a lot of Judas Priest this week. I don't know if you guys are into the 80s metal at all. I know I'm really big into the 70s, 80s metal and hard rock scene, stuff like that. Judas Priest is one of my favorite bands of all time. I would put Rob Halford on my Mount Rushmore of rock vocalists. That's a fun conversation to have one time. Screaming for Vengeance is just a perfect album from beginning to end. And like I said, I've been listening to that a lot lately. Some people think it's kind of weird that I'll listen to hard rock and metal while I do my studying. But, sometimes I need something that the coffee isn't working to get the blood pumping a little bit. And hard rock music usually does it. What about you guys? What are you watching? What are you listening to? What are you playing? I didn't have very much time for a game this week. Like I said, kind of school got in the way. You going to the movies this weekend? You going to see Birds of Prey? Hey, if you think I'm wrong about that, please drop in the comments. Let me know what you think. There are no wrong opinions here. We can talk about these things. So please drop in the comments. Let me know what you're up to, and I will talk to you there.